I sat down with 4 different founders, all at different levels, some pre-revenue, some doing over 10k a month, and all of them came to me and said, I want to grow my business faster, what advice would you give me? And this is what we did within the first season of The Lion's Den. In this video, I'm going to be condensing all the lessons that I've learned so that you can steal these ideas and apply them to your own business. So let's get into it. Firstly, let's go back to episode 1. We sat down with Sim, a photographer based in London that was really early stage and wanted to add an extra 1k MRR to his business. Now Sim had actually started to do a decent amount of photography work, but he wasn't showcasing this to his audiences. The main lessons that we taught him is firstly, define your ideal client, right? Sim wasn't sure about who exactly he wanted to serve, and as a result his marketing wasn't as concise as it could have been. The second thing was to set up a marketing shopfront so that people knew exactly who he was there to serve and exactly what his services consisted of. Then a couple other bonus pieces of advice that we gave to him is that he needs to start producing content consistently so people are always aware of the work that he's doing, and on top of that he should re-engage past customers because there's a bunch of people that he did work with that might need extra work but he just never actually reached out to them. By just making these small tweaks and being more consistent, Sim could absolutely add an extra 1k MRR to his business. The second founder we sat down with was called Ange, and she created YogiLab. By the end of the year, Ange wanted to hit 4k MRR but was struggling to get the foundations in place. YogiLab is a wellness app which obviously takes a lot of tech, a lot of time to actually develop, but what we noticed is that Ange was actually chasing perfection instead of actually just launching and getting the first couple of iterations out there. After questioning her methodology, we actually found out that we could help her to launch a couple months earlier just by changing the features that she wanted to launch with. This was going to make it much more likely that she could actually hit 4k MRR by the end of the year. There was 3 main lessons that we gave to Ange. First one was she needs to actually start producing content more consistently and letting people know about what she actually does, because the biggest reason why people don't buy from a startup is that they don't even know you exist. The second thing we told Ange to do is to be more confident with her pricing. She was a little bit uncertain of whether or not people would pay £20 a month for a tech app, but the truth is people pay for a transformation, not an actual service. Right? If you can actually genuinely change someone's life to be more peaceful, to be less stressed, to have better health, to feel good about themselves, that's worth so much more money than £20 a month, right? If someone asked you to pay £20 a month to have all those benefits, you'd absolutely do it. So the question is the product good enough? Not will people pay for it? The third and final lesson that we gave Ange is to create an outreach script and start messaging people that might be interested in the app. The reason why is because if you can get that first group of beta testers, that's going to make it so much easier for Ange to know what works and what doesn't work. And just having that outreach is going to make it so much easier for to build some momentum. Now moving on to episode 3. We sat down with Ollie, who runs a content agency that was doing 150k a year but wanted to scale it to 250k a year. The first thing that we did is that we broke down the numbers and found out, okay, if you want to scale to 250k a year, that's only going to be 4 new clients that he needs to get. From there, we figured out there's a few key areas that he needs to focus on. Number 1 is that his ICP was really vague. He would work with anyone that showed some interest in what he was doing. And as a result, it meant it was really difficult for people to say, yes, I actually want to work with you. The second thing is that the consistency of him and his partner attending networking meetings wasn't as frequent as it could have been. And there was a few different reasons behind that, but the main thing is that they need to get those numbers up so they can start meeting the right people and start selling and getting more leads. The third and final lesson that we give Ollie is that his content needs to be an order of magnitude better than all the other people's content out there. If his content isn't representative of what other people would actually love to have for their own business, then people aren't going to buy into it. By making these small changes, Ollie could absolutely be on track to hit 250k a year with ease, if not even more. Now finally, we move on to episode 4 of The Lion's Den. Max was doing 6k a month and wanted to scale to 15k a month. And as we sat down, we realized how possible this actually was. Max had actually been splitting his attention across 2 different brands and 2 different ICPs. Immediately to me, that was a sign that we could absolutely grow his business. The main lessons that we gave to Max is firstly, if you want to be able to scale, make things simple. The more complex a system is, the harder it is to grow. The second lesson we give is focus on the flow. So as soon as a lead comes in, what's the next stage? What's the next stage? What's the next stage? If you can just look at each individual stage and get the right data at each point, it's going to make it so much easier for you to make a decision on what you actually need to improve. It's so easy for someone to think, I'm going to focus on sales, when really the problem is lead flow. We needed to get much more clear on what was going on with the data, and as we did, we started to find out that there was a few flaws within his nurture process, and that's a third lesson that we gave. As a lead comes through, you want to give them every single possible chance to be able to say, yes, I want to move on to the next step. Yes, I'm going to push through. So we added a few things within his nurture system to make it more likely that his leads would actually turn into applications, booked calls, and then sales calls. That's season 1 of The Lion's Den. real businesses, real fixes, and clear next steps. Now, if you're watching this and you want your business to be reviewed in the Lion's Den so you can get more clarity on what you actually need to do to scale your business, then you can do so using the link below. Or if you're just here to learn, we've got plenty more videos on our channel that'll give you the insights that you need to be able to grow and scale your business. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and I will catch you on one of these videos.